Everyone, welcome back to the Keep 7 Gaming YouTube channel, and today we are playing a Wolf Tribal deck. There are two non-wolf creature cards in this deck, but everything else is pretty much wolf centered or focused, and the rest are just kind of to help support kind of the game plan. So to kind of get into the deck tech or deck breakdown, we have to start two Heartless Acts. We have no 1-drops in the deck. I couldn't find any wolf 1-drops that would be playable in legal standard. So we just have 2-drops and up. The first 2 drops we'll go over is the 2 Heartless Acts. It's just very cheap creature removal for creatures with no counters on it. Next we have 4 copies of Paradise Druid, and just to go over the cards that we have in the deck that are not wolf focused or wolves themselves or part of the wolf tribe. Paradise Druid, 4 of to help us ramp, and 2 Midnight Reapers. Your wolves are probably going to die, or you're going to kill them yourself at some point. Sacrifice them. So this is just a way to get more cards into your hand. So if you have a Midnight Reaper out there, it's just a way to kind of get card draw, because there's very few ways in this deck to get cards to draw other than Vraska and Midnight Reaper. So those are the only 2 cards, one to help us ramp, one to help us get some cards back. I mean, you're not going to refill your hand by any means with drawing one single card, but potentially, you know, if you let a lot of your wolves die, you could refill your hand. And we have 1 Find Finality. It's a way to either clear the board if things are getting out of control, or get 2 creature cards back from your graveyard to your hand. So you have a couple options with this card. I like it because it helps you clear the board while keeping potentially one of your powerful wolves out there. Or, you know, if you've let wolves die and you had to sacrifice them, because that's probably a lot of what you're going to be doing, you can get them back to your from your graveyard to your hand. And then we have 2 copies of Mythos of Nethroi, which is, I would probably do more of these and less of the Heartless Acts, but it's a 3 mana, 2 and a black, destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature, or if you spend the Abzan colors, 1 of each, to cast the spell, you can be any permanent. So gives you some options as to what you can target, specific enchantments if you want, or creature, something like that. Moving on into the actual wolves, the meat and potatoes of the deck, we have 3 copies of Ferocious Pup. It's something we can easily, a 0/1 wolf, the pup itself is something easily that we can sacrifice with Vraska, so that we can get some card draw and some life gain. It creates a 2/2 green wolf creature token, which is great. And you know that it itself becomes more powerful in conjunction with Nightpack Ambusher, and the 2/2 creature token that it creates becomes more powerful in conjunction with Nightpack Ambusher. Next we have Fierce Witch Stalker, which when it enters the battlefield you create a food token. It's a 4/4 with trample, so it's pretty powerful, becomes that much more powerful in conjunction with Nightpack Ambusher. And it also gives us the food that we need for our Wicked Wolf. So we can sacrifice a food and put a +1/+1 counter on Wicked Wolf. It gains indestructible until end of turn, tap it. Wicked Wolf is also a great way to get some removal for some smaller creatures. So when Wicked Wolf enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And if you put this out on the battlefield, sacrifice a food token, it gets a +1/+1, it becomes a 4/4, and it's indestructible. So when it fights, you know, potentially it doesn't die. But it is a very situational card. But, you know, if you have a flyer out there or something you need to deal with that's pretty small, you can deal with it with Wicked Wolf. Next is Nightpack Ambusher. 4 mana, 2 and 2 greens to cast. It has flash. It's a 4/4. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1, so that's huge. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a creature spell this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. We have a lot of creatures in here, so we'll probably be casting them, but I mean, it's just a very solid benefit if you just get to create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. If, let's say, your opponent didn't do much and you don't have much to worry about, not much to interact with, you can just create a 2/2, which becomes a 3/3 with a Nightpack Ambusher on the field. Next we have our top end, which is made up of Vraska. To start, she's just a way to kind of get some card draw if you want to sacrifice maybe a Ferocious Pup or something like that, or maybe one of your tokens. Gain 1 life, draw a card. She's also removal. Her -3, destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less, and then a -9. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. It is a win condition, but it rarely ever happens because people see that coming. We have 2 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death, just a way to get back either, you know, maybe one of our creatures that we lost, maybe one of our planeswalkers that we lost. And it's also removal, exile. You know, if there's something out there like a Pelucranos or something that needs to be exiled, something that you can't just kill, it's a great way to get rid of that. And then it's a great way to bring back either a Garruk, a Vraska, you know, one of your creatures. What I love about Elspeth Conquers Death and Garruk is if you use Elspeth Conquers Death and you bring back a Garruk, it brings him back with a, you know, you can bring him back with 1 additional loyalty, which means you can ultimate with Garruk by bringing him back with Elspeth Conquers Death right away. So there's a little bit of synergy there that I don't think a lot of people take into account. Next, we have 3 copies of Tolsimir, Friend to Wolves. Pretty basic. He's a 3/3. Anytime a wolf enters the battlefield, it can fight, or that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. You gain 3 life if it's a wolf. And then when he enters the battlefield, you create a 3/3 Voya or Voja, Friend to Wolves, legendary creature token. And then we have 3 Garruk on the top end. More, -3, more destroy target creature, draw a card, so a little bit more card draw. Create, for 0, create 2/2 green-black wolf creature token. When it dies, you put a loyalty counter on Garruk. And then as -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +3/+3, and have trample. So that's really our main win condition here, is just flood the board with wolves, get them +3/+3, and just swing away and see what you can do. So just to give you a little breakdown, 22 creatures, 6 planeswalkers, 2 enchantments, 2 sorceries, 4 instants, and 25 lands. This could maybe be a 24 lander, maybe even less. But the more lands, the better. You really want your land drops. I mean, even though you have a Paradise Druid to help you ramp, I think you really need to hit your land drops, because although the wolves are really, this midsection of wolves is obviously what the deck is. It's a wolf tribal deck. This is what the deck is, based around. This is the idea, wolves. Your top end is really what's going to win you the game. These cards, in conjunction with each other, probably what are going to win you the game. Garruk, Vraska, using them in conjunction to kill your own wolves, to ultimate Garruk, get all your guys +3/+3. That's probably what will win you the game. These wolves on their own, you can flood the board with them, and that's great, but I highly doubt that these wolves on their own, all on the board together, are going to be able to swing in and kill your opponent. Things that this deck is vulnerable to. Flyers, you have no way, unless you're just removing every flyer that you see, even though, you're probably, I don't know that we have enough removal here if we come up against flyers. And even if we're using all of our removal on flyers because they're a threat, the opponent will probably have a bigger threat later that will be, trample over or destroy all of our wolves or something like that. So, flyers can be a problem. Board wipe can be a problem. We have a lot of wolves out here, so even if they wipe the board, we can still throw more wolves out there. But because we don't have too much card draw, it might, a board wipe could send us into a top decking situation. We do have planeswalkers that, if Shatter the Sky is out there, Storm's Wrath could really fuck us. We don't really have many things over 4. A Storm's Wrath would be brutal. Storm's Wrath would clear our board and potentially kill our planeswalkers. So Storm's Wrath could be a huge vulnerability for this deck. So you gotta hope you don't come up against it. But other than that, it's a pretty solid deck, pretty solid lineup. You've got powerful creatures. You just gotta hope that you can somehow survive the early game long enough to start casting these, and you gotta really hope that you can ramp quickly. The problem is there isn't enough really ramp here to start casting multiple of your wolves in a turn, so you're probably only casting 1 wolf at a time, which can be pretty slow. And by the time you get to 6 mana, you want to be casting Vraska or Garruk or your Elspeth or something like that, and not really using the mana to cast these wolves. But, with tribal decks, you do kind of have that issue. You're kind of stuck with what you're given, and these are kind of the wolves that we are given. But, it's fun nonetheless to stick to kind of a theme. So this is the theme that I picked for today, Wolf Tribal, and we'll get into some matches. All right. Our first opponent for the day is Hungry Boy. All right, let's see how our wolves stack up. All right, so I don't like this hand at all. We don't have any early plays. We don't have any early ramp. We'll mulligan this hand. All right, so we got some ramp. We have a very late play. We have a Fine Finality, and we have a Vraska, which could be a semi-early play. We'll keep this hand. What do we put back? I think we put back the Tolsimir. He's not that powerful for a lot of mana, and it's 5. Or maybe we put back the Fine Finality, because we don't have much that we would... Yeah, I think we're going to put back the Fine Finality, because we don't really have much... if the Paradise Druid dies, we're not going to find Finality that. If Vraska dies, we can't find Finality that. And Tolsimir, by the time... Oh, man, mono red. Jesus. I don't know if maybe we trade Scorch Bitter for Paradise Druid. We probably don't. think we just take this. Another Scorch Spitter. So Fine Finality could have been potentially very good card to have kept, had I known. Pay 2 life. We'll put out the Ferocious Pup. It gives us a blocker. We get a 2/2. We can play Vraska next turn. He can... Yeah, okay, so he Bone Crusher Giants our guy. He can swing in here. I think we take this. Because we want to sacrifice the Ferocious Pup to Vraska. So we get the life and the card draw. Or maybe we just put a 4/4 on the field. Create the food token. We might just end up eating that food token. We don't swing in with Ferocious Pup. We can hope that we draw into a Night Pack Ambusher. But really what we want here is lands. Okay, so are they going to double Bone Crusher Giant me, or are they going to shock? Incredible. Okay, so they're using a lot of their resources. A lot of their resources. They really should have just swung face there. We're going to go no blocks. Oy vey. We can just get rid of one of their Scorch Spitters. This will buy us some time. They can kill Vraska now. I really would have liked to have sacrificed the Ferocious Pup. Alright, so we get Tolsimir on the field. We get the 3/3 that I think we just make it fight Bone Crusher Giant. We gain the life. We don't swing. We're up to 5 mana. We'll play Vraska. We'll get rid of Bone Crusher Giant. Which Scorch Spitter will kill... Well, let's see here. I think we probably should have played defensive, but I think swinging here doesn't matter. If he swings at us, that's 2 damage, whatever, but if he swings at Vraska, she's bound to die anyway. Thane of Redfell, so he should just swing in now. He really should just go face. Okay, so our wolf fights that and dies, which is unfortunate. But if he swings with Torbrand, we have 2 Ferocious Pups that we can kind of throw under the bus. Okay, a Fervent Champion doesn't do much for them. Oh no, because he gets the +2, so we'll put that under the bus, and we'll put that under the bus, and we just gotta hope we, I guess, hope we draw into a land. Okay, so we have another Tolsimir, which is unfortunate. We'll keep the one that just came in. We can 3/3. 3/3 will fight him. They both die. We gain 3 life. Really at our wit's end here. I guess we kill the Robber of the Rich? Embercleave. Of course it's fucking Embercleave. I guess we play Wicked Wolf. Wicked Wolf becomes indestructible, fights Robber, Robber dies. He can just attach Embercleave to Torbrand, which sucks. Why he didn't do that, I'll never know. Could he not equip it? So even if we draw into some land, I think we're dead. Kill Torbran.
Looks like you're not.
I mean, he can equip, right? Embercleave. Can he equip it? Yeah. So that's game. We did our darndest, that's for sure. Well, when you play mono red, that'll happen. I was hoping for something a little bit slower so we'd have a little bit more options, but it is what it is. I think what we might do, I think we have too many of the big wolves, and we don't have enough early plays. So, although the namesake of the deck is Wolf Tribal, I think what we need to do is trim some of these wolves. I think we need to keep the 4 of Nightpack Ambusher, but I think we can trim out maybe we just do 1 Fierce and we do 2 Wicked Wolves, because we need some early. If we come up against aggro like that, we're going to need some early plays. So I think we can, especially because we have 3 Tulsimir Friend to Wolves. So maybe we trim the Tulsimir, because I don't think we need 3 of them. Maybe just 2 is fine. And then we can do another Fierce Witch Stalker. So we'll do 2 Wicked Wolves, 2 Fierce Witch Stalkers, 2 Tulsimirs. We'll do the 4 Nightpack, 3 Ferocious Pups, because it is an early play and it gives us, I want more things to sacrifice. Actually, we'll round out the play set of Ferocious Pup, because I want more things to sacrifice for Vraska, but we just need more early plays. And I mean that any game against mono red Embercleave in casual is demoralizing. I mean, why play mono red there? Just go to ranked, you asshole. Yeah, I think that it was a little too slow. We need to be, if we're playing best of 1 in casual, even then I think we need to be faster, even if we come up against a more forgiving opponent. So let's make those changes and we'll see how it goes. Alright, our next opponent is Grody138. So we have an early. We don't have any early ramp, but we have early interaction with Heartless Act. We have a turn 3 play with Midnight Reaper. We don't have any other creatures, and I don't know what we would sacrifice with Vraska, but maybe we draw into it. And then we have an Elspeth Conquers Death on the top end. Not having anything to sacrifice with Vraska is kind of meh. We'll stay true to our name and keep 7 here. I have my doubts about whether or not that's worth it. Ooh. I wish I played the Triome. Well, it is what it is. We can play the Overgrown Tomb, and then we can play the Plains. Keep the mana open for Heartless Act. We're playing mono green so far. Humble Naturalist is not the most dangerous thing I've seen in the world. A Healer's Hawk, also not something I'm particularly scared of. Something we can remove with a Wicked Wolf. But they're playing slower than Mono Red, so thank you for that. Dear God. It's a Tessin Training. That doesn't count as a counter, right? Well, if it does, fuck me. I should have killed it. Okay, so we'll pay 2 life. We'll get out the Midnight Reaper. Then we can go Ferocious Pup into Vraska, hopefully. You know, we can play out the Indatha Trial and play Ferocious Pup, and then we have something to sacrifice with Vraska. Hopefully we're not taking too much damage from the Sealer's Hawk. We have a Mythos of Nethroi now, so if the Hawk becomes a problem, we can get rid of it. I don't know that it's going to be a problem yet, so he's playing multiple Hawks. I don't know if he's going to enchant both or what, but... Growth Cycle. Swings in for 5. Oh boy. So maybe we just Heartless Act here instead of playing out the Wolf. Swing in with Midnight Reaper, because we're not going to block anyway. We can't block a Hawk. And then I think next turn we Ferocious Pup, then we Vraska. You know, if they don't have more ways to pump this Hawk. Okay, so they're looking for lands. Looks like they stumbled on lands, which is good for us. They'll give us a turn. They got what they needed. I mean, you might as well swing in with the Hawk, right? Just get that 1 life back. Okay, so they're not even threatening blocks here. So we'll play out the Ferocious Pup. We get the 2/2. We'll swing in with the Midnight Reaper. I don't know if they'll block with the Farfinder. They do block with the Farfinder. Okay. And then depending on what their play is here, we can Elspeth Conquers Death, we can Mythos of Nethroi, we can Nightpack Ambusher. So they're playing some sort of mutate, it looks like. Six, 6. Alright, so maybe we Mythos of Nethroi that Hawk so they can't do that anymore. Or maybe we kill it with Vraska. We have enough protection with what we have here to protect Vraska. And we won't swing in. We're almost hoping they swing in with Essence Symbiote so we can kill our own wolf and then we can sacrifice Ferocious Pup. We have 2 Nightpack Ambushers in hand, which is fantastic. Question is, when do we play them? Do we play them at flash speed or do we not? Do we try to get the buff and then swing in to clear their board and put pressure on them? That's the question. We might play one at sorcery speed, which is not advisable, not maybe particularly smart, but just to get pressure on them, because we have the other backup one that we can play at flash speed later if we need a blocker, but I don't think they're playing anything that would have haste or anything like that, so I don't think that we have... I don't know. What is he planning on doing? Did he miscalculate mana? Is he trying to... Okay. We'll let both of these die, I suppose. Okay. Get rid of our Ferocious Pup. We gain some life. We get a Mythos of Nethroi. Or, yeah, we get another Mythos. So now, I think we just play a Nightpack Ambusher. Play that tapped. Something they have to deal with. And then maybe at the end of our... Maybe we play nothing. We just get the free 3/3. We have 2 Mythos of Nethroi, so if they want to bring something out, we can kill it with Mythos. But depending on it, if his play is less than good, we can play out another Nightpack at the end of their end step. This is a very slow and methodical player, I suppose. Looking at his mana a lot. Come on, Grody. What do you? Okay, so. I think. Let's see here. We can kill our own land. But that doesn't sound super great. I think we just plus.
Sometimes sacrifice is necessary.
We'll just plus her. And do nothing, and we get the free 3/3. And then at the end of their end step, we'll put out another Night Pack Ambusher. We'll let that resolve. And then I think we kill it with Mythos. We'll save our other Mythos. So the question here is, do we sacrifice that token? Well, let's attack first. Alright. So we still get the attack in. It doesn't untap. We'll get a free 3/3. And we'll get some card draw here. We get another Paradise Druid. We might as well... Oh, no, let's not, because we get the free 3/3. We'll get the 3/3 and see what their next play is. We have more Mythos of Nethroi. We have an Elspeth Conquers Death. Okay, that's fine. They kill our wolf. But we have another. We have a fine finality, so we can get that wolf back. If we want to. Okay. So I think here... He's giving us the good game, I think, because he thinks that we don't have anything. Swing with Night Pack. And then we can... Is it even worth finding the wolf? We'll do +2. We won't sacrifice anything, because we could win the game, potentially. If he gets that guy down, we'll just Mythos of Nethroi it. Or do we Elspeth Conquers Death so we can't get it back? We can Elspeth Conquers Death to also get back our Night Pack Ambusher. I think that was the right play. We'll play it slow. We'll do +2 here to 11. We'll sacrifice nothing. I don't think we need more cards. And then we'll get the free 3. Oh, we don't get a free 3/3. Oh, because we played a spell. It's +3/+3 until end of turn. We'll just kill it. He's got no other plays. Was it worth using our Mythos of Nethroi? No, but we win the game here anyway, so... There we go. Alright, there's Wolf Tribal working out. Definitely it was a slow play from him, and he didn't have the greatest deck in the world, but... Okay, so no ramp. A lot of 4-mana plays. No plays until turn 3. I don't think we keep that. I like this better. And what do we get rid of? Possibly Vraska. Because what would we even be sacrificing until she gets on the field? We have some early interaction, some early ramp, and we just gotta hope we draw into something viable. Our opponent is Michael0912. Play the Endothatron. We draw into another Paradise Druid, so we have double ramp. Looks like they might be playing Auras, and a flyer is not what I wanted to see. We're putting a lot on that. I wonder what happens if we just kill it. Let's see what's on top of our deck. Another Endothatron. I think we have plenty of lands at this point. We'll just kill it. Get rid of all that. We'll swing in. Why not? If they want to replay another creature and attach a bunch of shit to it, that sucks. But we'll have Garruk soon, and we can just destroy a target creature. Hopefully stabilizing the board, because it looks like they're not going to be playing wide. They're probably just going to put things down and attach stuff to it. Vanishing Light or Paradise Druid. Is that the best you have? All Seed of Life's bounty. We get the Vraska, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we play Overgrown Tomb, we can play Garruk, and then we can make some wolves. Becomes a 3/3, no block. Play out the wolf because I fucked up there. I was supposed to pay 2 life to put that Overgrown Tomb in, but now I guess the wolves that we create are 3/3. So they get rid of our Nightpack Ambusher, so that sucks. Sentinel's Eyes becomes a 4/4, which is perfect for our wolves. We can double block, kill both of them, and then ult with Garruk.
Stay on the trail.
Unless they're 1/1 swing at Garruk, and then we can't. But we can block. We can let one die to All-Seed. We can let one die to one of the... Or we can... I guess if we want both to die, but... We can play our Wicked Wolf next turn to kill one of the 1/1s. Or we could just keep blocking with our 2/2s. I bet they wish they didn't use Banishing Light on a fucking Paradise Druid. Now... And that's it. That's game. I'll take that, but I think they still probably had a way out of it and they could have drawn into more, but I think their biggest mistake was using a Banishing Light on a Paradise Druid. That seems pretty dumb. What's in my hand is probably more valuable than Especially if you know, if I have a Paradise Druid on the board and it's tapped, I'm probably trying to ramp into things. You probably want to get rid of what I'm ramping into and not the Paradise Druid itself. So, all right. Our next opponent for the day is Milk mit Stonken. I think that's the pronunciation. Milk with. I don't know what stunchen is, and I'm assuming milk isn't milk, but maybe it is, and I'm assuming mit is with. I don't know what stunchen is. I'm assuming this is German. Anyway, looking at our hand, this is garbage, so we'll mulligan that, and I like this, so we'll keep that. We'll put away the Elspeth. We'll keep the early interaction, the early ramp, the early creature, and then another creature to ramp into. Maybe it was a toss-up between Tolsimir and what's-her-face? Elspeth Conquers Death. And Tolsimir won, because we're playing Wolves. We'll get the Paradise Druid down. We can Fabled Passage. Hopefully we draw into an untapped land, and we can Fabled Passage. Okay, so it's playing Birth. Interesting. We can Fabled Passage, and then play into... Okay, so we can't... We can play... Well, what do we fetch here? I don't think it really matters what we go get. I think we're going to need more green representation anyway, because most of our wolves have the double green, so we'll do that for now. We'll play the Ferocious Pup. We'll just establish a board presence. We'll, hopefully the 2/2 will survive long enough. We can sacrifice our Ferocious Pup. We can play our Vraska next turn, sacrifice it, and we can gain a life, draw a card. The 0/4 wall in our way isn't a huge deal, but we'd like to be able to kind of play around it. Okay, so they establish their own board presence here. We could kill that, but I'm not too worried about a Daxos at the moment. So we'll play Vraska. Sacrifice our Ferocious Pup. Sorry, buddy. That seems unforgivable, but we have things we need to do. He can swing in with his Daxos now, and that is what it is, but we drew into a Midnight Reaper, which is pretty epic. Okay, so the Birth is gone, so he doesn't have the Devotion to white. I mean, if he plays something out that gives him Devotion to white, he can swing in with Daxos. In our Vraska, but our Vraska, we can still kill something with Vraska, even if he swings in. And we can always block with our Wolf, but I'd rather not. Gain some life here. So he does decide to swing at our Vraska. We won't block. We'll have some stuff in a moment that we can play that will protect her. So we'll play out... Do we play out Midnight Reaper? I think we do. I don't have anything particularly that I'm trying to... And we can minus to get rid of the Daxos, I guess. I don't know if that was entirely worth it, but we'll swing in with our 2/2. If they want to double... Oh, right. They can just block it with the 0/4 wall. Whoops. So that's an oops. But if they swing in with both 1/1s, I mean, I guess that's fine. I should have kept the Wolf up because I could have... Well, I can't double block 2 attackers, so they can get rid of Vraska here, but we have another. So if they play something big, we have Vraska, we can just get rid of it. Ooh, an Elspeth. Sun's Nemesis. Now that's not a card you see every day.
I will do my best to support you.
I hope they just swing in at Vraska. That is totally okay with me. Maybe should have let something die, but... So what do I play here? Not drawing into lands kind of hurts, especially in a deck where you put in the extra land. I don't think anything here is Heartless actable or worth Heartless acting. So maybe we just play a Fierce Witchstalker and get a 4/4. Get the food token. And then we can't really attack with anything because they have the 0/4 wall. So maybe Heartless Act is going to be good to kill that 0/4 wall. But we have Fierce Witchstalker. I mean, if they get rid of it here, it is what it is, but we have blockers. Okay, so they played something with Death Touch and an Afterlife. What's the afterlife? A flyer? Yeah, flyer. So do they create more tokens here? This is another thing that I didn't even think about, but this deck does not do very well against planeswalkers. I don't, unless we draw into a Mythos of Nethroi. Okay. What to do, what to do. Do we pay 2 life? I think we have enough life here that we can afford it. And then do I play Nightpack Ambusher at sorcery speed, pump up my wolves, and swing? Or do I start trying to get rid of their board? Or we could play Tulsimir. It could fight one of the tokens, I guess, and save Nightpack Ambusher for later. We just keep getting more and more wolves. I don't necessarily want him to have the flyer, so I guess we'll just kill one of the one of the 4 tokens, I suppose. And he has Death Touch. The Orzhov Enforcer has Death Touch, so I don't really want to fuck with that. I don't want to lose a wolf to Death Touch right now. This is an interesting matchup. Vanishing Light on Tulsimir? Interesting. What else does... I never see this card played. Up to 2 creatures get... You gain 5 life. So she's either going to make more 1/1s or give them... or buff them for -1. So she creates 2 more.
I am proud of my comrades.
Humdiddlyum, dillium, dillium. So we can kill the Orzhov Enforcer, and they get a 1/1, and then we can just maybe swing. So they get a 1/1 flyer, and that is what it is. Maybe we just kill the flyer. Do we save the Ferocious Pup? I'm like not too scared of a 1/1 flyer, and I feel like I should save this Heartless Act for something more important. So maybe we just play out the Ferocious Pup now. Get another 2/2. Swing in with all my guys. Hopefully some of them die, we get some card draw. So we can double block. And some of our guys die, and that triggers Midnight Reaper, which will be pretty good. He takes 4. Interesting. Why did we... Oh, is it non-token? Oh, fuck, that sucks. So maybe Midnight Reaper isn't the best inclusion here. Destroy target tapped creature. That'll give us the trigger we want, though. Mythos of Nethroi. So if he plays another Planeswalker, we have Mythos ready. We can play Vraska, sacrifice our pup. Get the card draw.
Only a fool. Sometimes sacrifice.
Get double card draw because of that. We'll do no play here. We have a Wicked Wolf to get rid of the 1/1 now. And then we just have these 1/1s to contend with. What's his play? Depending on what his play is, we might have to use a Heartless Act, Mythos of Nethroi, something like that. 2 Afterlife. Does it have Death Touch, though? No. But what is it, Flyers? Alright.
Being ruthless has its
What do we sacrifice? Maybe just our food. Gain some life, get some card draw. Get the land we wanted. And then I don't think we attack. That Ministrant of Obligation, what is it? 3 mana? I mean, that could potentially be something for Elspeth Conquers Death if we draw into one. But I think our next best move is probably Nightpack Ambusher. They might have a Banishing Light for our Vraska. Huh. So a bunch of 2/2 tokens. Interesting play. Is it worth it to destroy an 0/4 wall with Vraska? We can play out either Ferocious Pup or Nightpack Ambusher. Yeah, I think it's worth it.
It's not often I'm
Get rid of their wall. We save Nightpack Ambusher for instant speed play. We pump all our wolves. So they're looking for something, so that's good. Let's see if they find it, or find something. I was kind of nervous about Shatter the Sky. Okay, so they kept 2 to the top, which hurts. If they swing in here, I wonder what that would mean. We'll play at Nightpack Ambusher, pump all our wolves. And then is it worth Heartless Acting maybe a 2/2? I don't really think so. Let's see what's at the top of our deck. I don't think we need more lands at this point. Play out the Ferocious Pup. Get a 1/2. We can sacrifice the Ferocious Pup if we want. I think it's worth it.
going to die.
Get the card draw. 2 lands. Well, at least we cleared out lands from the top of our deck, right? We can play out Nightpack Ambusher now, or we can save it. Swing in with our 4/4s. Let's see what happens. They might want to kill our Nightpack Ambusher, which I think would be a smart move. Okay, so it might be worth it to put our wolf out, our other Nightpack Ambusher, to target attacking or blocking creature. Just so the pumps stay. And we protect our wolf. So they get to, well, yeah, they get to kill it here. But we figured some of our guys were going to die here anyway. Maybe shouldn't have sacrificed the food so Wicked Wolf would stay, but we're clearing their board a lot here. If they drew into like a Shatter the Sky, if that's what they were looking for and we're playing into it, that's pretty rough. They're keeping some guys alive, which makes me think that maybe not. They get 2 flyers, which hurts. We get another Nightpack Ambusher, which is good. I'd rather not use Heartless Act and Mythos of Nethroi on 1/1 flyers, but okay, that's definitely something that we can use that on. So they can kill our Vraska. They're going double on Vraska, which we'll take that. We'll use the cheaper removal on Harmonious Archon. That'll bring him down a notch. And that, I mean, I hate playing Nightpack Ambushers at sorcery speed, but I think it's worth it. So let's play him out. And then And we swing with our 5/5s and 4/4s. See how this goes. Okay. We'll save the mana for Mythos of Nethroi to see what they play. We have the perfect combination, so we can destroy. If he brings back Elspeth Conquers Death, we can kill it with Mythos. Okay, so they put back a Light of the Legion. What does she do? Flying Mentor, when it dies, put a +1/+1 on each white creature you control. So maybe we don't want to kill her? Maybe we do. On each white creature you control. Let's see. Let's see if we have any better options. Like a fucking Elspeth Conquers Death. So we'll play out another Paradise Druid. Let's keep the pressure on. I mean, these are tokens, so if they die, that sucks, but I'd rather keep the Nightpack Ambushers. If they want to trade with, you know, one of our... Okay. They can double block here. Another reason I want to do this is if we clear the board and Light of the Legion dies, it doesn't really matter. You know, if they have no white creatures left, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, so we get rid of their flyers. That's pretty dope. We lose a 4/4 wolf token, or do we? So if we kill that now, these become 3/3s. We have 5/5s. I think this might be worth it. So those die anyway. He has 2 3/3s left over. We'll play out another Paradise Druid. Fucking why not? At this point, we can let those die. If he wants to swing in with the 3/3s, we can let those die. We can let Paradise Druids die as chump blockers, and we'll get triggers from them from our Midnight Reaper. We don't need ramp anymore. And, you know, if we triple block with them, that's 6 damage.
Even the gods cannot escape. If you are going to fight, fight beside me.
All right. So we get more wolves. I just really want that thing dead so he can't keep creating tokens. And if he wants to kill our Paradise Druids, we get triggers with the Midnight Reaper. And then anything else, we're just clearing up the board. And if he wants to swing in with his 3/3s, we can block with our 4/4 wolves. I'd prefer that they died. But perfect. Our Paradise Druids die for the cause. The cause being us drawing cards.
Cannot escape failures.
Land. Nightpack Ambusher. We'll save the Nightpack Ambusher. Can he bring back Elspeth? Looks like he can. Breath of Meletis. He's looking for a Plains. How much does he have to... 4 other cards. So he can bring back Elspeth. But he has to get rid of 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get more tokens, which is what it is.
Itself cannot halt my quest.
But we have 2 more 4/4s with the wolves that we can swing in with. That are all going to become 5/5s, so.
Together we can exact justice.
create more wolves. We'll play Vraska.
Go ahead.
And that's it. I think he sees the writing on the wall. I think we have just too much out there, so that's that. We just swing in, we kill the Elspeth, she can't come back. We probably would, let's see what we would have done here. We probably would have swung in with 3 5/5s, a 6/6, and maybe even our Night Pack Ambushers, and we just clear the board. The Elspeth can't come back and create more tokens. He could double block on a Night Pack Ambusher, or he could double block on Voya or Voja. How much would we need to commit? I mean, he can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to protect Elspeth, but I mean, it would have just been a matter of time, depending on what his top decks are. But hey, we had a lot here. We could have just pumped out more 5/5 wolves and stuff like that. But overall, solid matchup to have tokens, essentially a token versus token matchup. Who can create more tokens? But yeah, it was fun. So post game wrap up. I like it. You know, Garruk is my favorite. This tandem of Vraska and Garruk is probably one of my favorite tandems in the game. Sacrificing creatures and stuff like that to get card draw, get life gain, and also to get closer to ultimating Garruk. The mid board of this deck could use a trim, and you could definitely use some earlier plays if you want to break from the Wolf Tribal and just incorporate more lower end creatures. Maybe like I don't know. What's that 2-drop? The Fox, I think it is. Or, what is it? Let's just see here. It has Flash. Where are you son of a bitch? Wildborn Preserver, that's it. The 2/2 with Flash and Reach could solve a lot of your flyer problems. And then every time you cast another non-human creature, or anytime a non-human creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay X, and when you do, it gets +1/+1 counter. So you can solve a lot of those problems, like with flyers and stuff with this guy. It's another Flash creature that you can play early. You know, maybe our removal suite wasn't too great here. I think Mythos, Heartless Act, and Elspeth Conquers Death as a removal suite I think is pretty good. We have some more stuff with Wicked Wolf and stuff like that. Elspeth is huge for bringing back like a Garruk or maybe a Night Pack Ambusher. And then I think Ferocious Pup actually is like very solid. It's a very solid body that you can sacrifice with Vraska, which, I mean, that's pretty heartless to kill a little baby puppy that's so cute. But it's a solid body, and, you know, it's an 0/1 that isn't probably doing much anyway, so it's either a blocker for you that you're sacrificing by letting it block maybe a big, you know, like a 5/5 or something like that, or it's just a body for Vraska to sacrifice you, gain 1 life, and draw a card. So yeah, I think like this midsection could use maybe a trim. I think the top section is fine, but this midsection could use a trim so that you can make more room for some earlier plays, because this deck just doesn't get moving until you're much later. Midnight Reaper potentially could get subbed out because you're playing a lot of tokens, and this is triggered only when non-token creatures you control die. But as you saw, a lot of our creatures died, and we were sacrificing a lot of them anyway, so we did get some solid triggers with Midnight Reaper. So I think he's a solid addition, but there might be a better way to draw cards. But there are better ways to draw cards, things like Liliana and stuff like that. But I think we really wanted to just stick to the Wolves. And Vraska is kind of an outlier. She doesn't really have much to do with the Wolves, but she's a way to sacrifice your Wolves to get card draw, which is something this deck desperately needs. So it's a solid deck. It's a fun deck. If you like Wolves and you want to go Wolf Tribal, I think you can perform pretty okay with this in casual. You might get run over a little bit by the aggro decks, but I think the changes that we made in this video definitely helped. I think that the aggro deck we lost to because of Embercleave. But if we had a Mythos of Nethroi, we could have gotten rid of the Embercleave, and then that would have been it. I think we were a stone's throw away from winning that game. We had them at a dead stop. We just needed that one extra oomph, that one extra beefy oomph to kind of get past it. So, some more earlier interaction, perhaps this could perform better in casual against, those aggro decks. But it's fun, and it's Wolves. So if you like that, then you can make this deck if you have the cards. I wouldn't use any wild cards to round this out to make your own deck, but it's a solid wolf tribal deck. It's a solid tribal deck. You play wide, you swing away, and it's kind of fun. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.